So thanks everybody for being here. Very much a status quo budget today. There are three areas, actually four areas, that I would like to highlight in terms of impact on Calgary. The first is cannabis. It was important to note that we did hear from the Prime Minister, we did hear from the Minister of Finance that the intent of the tax split on cannabis is really that those revenues are supposed to flow to municipalities and local communities. So we just want to highlight that for the province of Alberta, that we are expecting that we will be able to more than cover the costs of the enforcement, which largely come to the City of Calgary going forward. And I was happy to hear Minister Morneau suggest that. On opioids, you know, when I had the chance to sit down with Minister Morneau a couple of weeks ago, we had quite the conversation about opioids, and I was really happy to hear him say the word treatment. Because we need to work on all four elements of the drug reduction strategy. That's prevention, enforcement, harm reduction, and treatment. But when he asked, where could the money really go? I said, today, I'm really interested in funding treatment beds. Because what we know about people who have addictions is the moment you feel strong enough that you want to make a change, you have to have that treatment bed available for you. You can't wait 3 days or 3 weeks or 3 months or 3 years for that treatment bed. So if that money starts flowing, we will be ready to start putting that towards treatment for people struggling with addiction very, very quickly. Not so good news on housing, I'm afraid. This budget was really a missed opportunity, I think, to take some of the federal government's historic commitment to housing and bring it back, or bring it forward, I should say, so we can start spending some of the money now. We know that maintenance and repairs of our affordable housing stock are absolutely critical. And it's a shame that much of that money is still backloaded, and that's something that me and my colleagues on the Big City Mayors Caucus of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities are going to push hard for, to get some of that money flowing quickly, because we can put it to work. It's economic stimulus, and we can help make those places more decent places to live. The big issue here, though, and one that I will continue to raise with the federal government, is really about economic development. While the economy in Canada is generally firing on all cylinders, that's still not true of Alberta. We are still in a fragile economic recovery. Even though our job numbers are looking better, I'm still concerned that we're looking at a jobless recovery. And I'm going to really be pushing hard with the federal government to say, you know, at a time when the rest of the country is doing pretty well, you really have to focus your economic development efforts, your innovation efforts, your foreign direct investment efforts on Alberta. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to remake the economy of a place where you already have really educated workforce, where you've got a lot of capital, where you've got a lot of talent, and really work hard on attracting new kinds of investment. And we really haven't seen that from this federal government yet. You know, when we had the supercluster announcement a couple weeks ago, I'll note that 9 out of 10 provinces received investment, not Alberta. Of course, the missed opportunity to locate the Canada Infrastructure Bank in Calgary was also another missed opportunity. So I really need to impress on the federal government that now is the time to really pay attention to Alberta.
Not, correct us if we're wrong, but not so much in the way of mention about the Olympics or 2026. Should we read into anything into that?
No.
Why?
That was easy. Because those acts haven't gone in yet, and it wouldn't be in a year budget anyway. This is money in the future. So those conversations continue with the federal government.
There's a lot of discussion of this budget on research. Is there any benefit you see going our way locally in terms of the research centers?
This focus on basic science and research and innovation is something I really welcome. You know, in my own work on economic development, this kind of basic research comes out over and over again, is absolutely critical. But again, I'll make the argument that this is a real opportunity for the federal government to tilt the playing field towards Alberta. We have great universities here, and this is a great opportunity to build up our innovation sector. I haven't seen that yet, but certainly now that the funding is there, it's something that I'll be pushing hard for.
I know you're a feminist. The Prime Minister says he's a feminist, and a lot of people talking about gender equality, pay equality right now. The CFIB worries or told us that they're worried these tax changes might be more detrimental to women in terms of female entrepreneurs. What do you make of anything about that?
I haven't heard that criticism, and I struggle to understand it. What we know, my former employer McKinsey, for example, has done a ton of work showing that increasing women's participation in the workforce has massive economic benefits. And I think it's really good that the federal government is looking at the budget through a gender equality lens. You know, just yesterday we were talking about paternity leave, or I should say parental leave, for city councillors. And these are really small symbolic things, but they make a big difference because ultimately increasing participation by everyone in the workforce so that everyone has the opportunity to have their best possible career is very, very good for the economy.
Can we talk a little bit about what wasn't in this budget, especially in terms of infrastructure spending?
Yeah, so we are still going through a very, very big wave of infrastructure spending here in Calgary. As you know, we put over $2 billion into the economy in 2017. And in this budget, it was really sort of stand pat. We didn't see any huge declines, we didn't see any huge increases. And really our key here is, as it always is, I'll let her come back. So investing in infrastructure is incredibly important, especially in this fragile economic recovery. So as you know, last year we put $2 billion into the local budget, into the local economy with the help of our partners at the provincial and federal governments. So this budget, we're still cracking the numbers on it, but it seems to be kind of stand pat. No increases, no decreases, a little bit of money has been back end loaded, but we continue to work hard to ensure that our critical infrastructure priorities here in Calgary are met. We've already had the federal funding for the Green Line, which is a big deal. And of course there are a couple of projects, including the continuation of Airport Trail, that we continue to negotiate with the federal government on. So we look forward to getting some of that money to work this year.
So overall, what should Calgarians read into this budget? I mean, we're hearing a lot of the same words, status quo, average, not much in terms of change.
Yeah, there's not a ton of change in this budget, which is what you would expect for a government in the third year of its mandate. You know, it's really continue the course. For Calgarians, the real issues are around economic development, around affordable housing, around opioids, and around how we're going to implement cannabis legislation.